GraceStory. It gives guys like me a chance to come into a safe environment where we can stretch ourselves, expand our faith, give God an opportunity to work on some of the rough edges in our lives.
Many of us as men have grown up in a culture of silence. We want to do better, we want to be better versions of ourselves. But the truth is we try to do that in secret, without community, without support.
If you're early on in life trying to figure out what does it mean to be a man in our culture, GraceStory is going to speak to that. If you're trying to figure out what it means to be a dad, and how do you pass on that legacy to those that are coming after you.
I'm a part of GraceStory because, well, it's a part of the legacy that I want to leave behind for my kids. I have 3 girls, a lovely wife, and I understand that as much as I try and as many things that I do get right, there's also a lot of things that I'm not getting right. And a lot of that I dwell on. And I understand there's a lot of guys just like me. And thankfully, there's a place like GraceStory where you can go and you can be fully known as much as you want to be known, and also understood without judgment.
Anything in my life that I really care about, that I want to see flourish, I make sure I'm intentional about it. If I want to be healthy, I need to be active and exercise. If I want to have a good relationship with my boys, I have to spend time with them. I have to get down on their level and make those connections. And I think that's the same thing in my spiritual walk, caring for my personal well-being. Something like GraceStory is so important for that because I am intentionally setting aside time to let God use that ministry to grow me, to stretch me, to help me holistically in my walk with Him.
I'm at the stage of life where I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I'm trying to figure out how do I do this whole parenting thing. And it's tricky. It reminds me of a quote by David Seamands. He wrote this really cool book called Healing Grace. And he says, our parents are the skylights through which we first view God. Man, I feel the weight of that sometimes. And I need everything I can possibly get to help me do that well.
It's not a place where you're going to be stuck in some small group setting and they're going to grill you about all your failures of the week, but it's a place where you're going to go and there's going to be guys stumbling forward in their journeys of restoration just like you. They'll have instructors come up after a storyteller has told a story that just connects with you and it resonates and you're like, yeah, I get that. And then right afterwards, that instructor comes up, their master's level or above, teaching you and saying, hey, what we just heard, man, that's a lot. So what are we going to do about it? We're going to learn about forgiveness, humility, what it means to be a spiritual leader, how we can be a better human being with healthy relationships.
I think that's what is such a benefit about what GraceStory is doing. It's giving guys like me an opportunity to come together to worship, but also to work on ourselves so that we can then go and help our kids, our families, our friends, as well as ourselves in our personal journeys.
You can either be a ghost or an ancestor in your children's lives. I don't want to be that figure that my kids look back on with questions and wondering and give them baggage that I didn't deal with myself. I want to be the one who stands up, turns around, faces the fire, so that I can present for my own kids as little baggage as possible and as much opportunity as possible for growth. I want to be part of that cloud of witnesses that they can look back on and say, I know what I've been given, and it's been good.
Truth is, God has designed us to be in community with other people. We don't have to figure it out on our own. Let's do that journey together.
GraceStory is fun, exciting, and is here to help as you make the next step on your journey towards wholeness.
The journey of restoration is not something you should do alone or can do alone. Healing happens in community. The only thing you have to do is get the courage to show up. And when you do show up, we'll be waiting, because healing happens here.